Welcome to The Heart of Health Live. There's a place for modern medicine in your life. Learn to use it correctly by getting your toughest questions answered on today's broadcast. Discover modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses. Lifestyle medicine opens the door to optimum health and healing. How you live and what you eat can profoundly affect mind and body. Learn simple solutions to complex problems. God provides the ultimate healing we all desire. He wants us healthy and happy. We just need to understand His plan for our lives and live accordingly. And now, live from Studio 1A in Chattanooga, Tennessee, here's your Heart of Health host, Dr. James Marcum.
I am so excited you joined us today on Heart of Health Live. Guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be talking about exercise, movement. We have an exercise guru here, and he's going to be with us today, Maurice Saliba. He's going to talk to us about exercise. He's going to specifically reach out to those of you who are out there that say, I don't like to exercise. It makes me sweat. I don't feel good. He's going to try to reach into your heart and motivate you to get out and do something. It doesn't have to be anything too big. Maybe it can be something simple. We're going to reach out to your hearts. We're also going to teach you how to chemically change your body through exercise. We're going to talk a little bit about this condition called prediabetes and diabetes, all this kind of problem. Believe it or not, right here in the United States, 60% of people now carry extra weight. And those of you who are watching from around the world, some other countries have that problem too. Now, there's many ways you can get a hold of us and ask a question from Maurice Saliba today. One way is our phone number. That's 855-644-3278. We also have some great technology. You can text us. Our text number is 423-834-7307, and I will have that right on my computer. We can answer your text questions, or you can go to our website. If you happen to like Facebook, we encourage you to be one of our Facebook friends. We can keep a hold of you every week. We can let you know which guest is coming on. You can be part of the Heartwise Ministry family. Speaking about family, we've now initiated the prayer team. If you have a special prayer request, we have people from all over the world that will pray for you. If you want a specific callback, we'll have someone call and pray for you in person. God can do things that through prayer that we can't even imagine. After the break, Maurice Saliba is going to be here. We're going to talk about his experience, but we also want to hear from you. 855-644-3278. Our text number 423-834-7307. Stay with us.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
The Heart of Health Live is brought to you by Heartwise Ministries.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minute. Would you like to experience better physical and mental health? Then consider volunteering in your community. Studies have shown that youth who give of their time to help others perform better in school, have greater self-confidence, and are more likely to become leaders in society than those who do not. And amongst adults, those who volunteer experience better physical and mental health, lower rates of disability while maintaining their autonomy as they age. And amazingly, these benefits persisted even after taking into account baseline limitations, socioeconomic status, health status, employment, exercise, smoking, and marital status. When we volunteer to help others, we activate the brain's love circuits, which calm the brain's fear circuits, reducing inflammation, thereby reducing physical and mental illness. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, live to give.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com. Medicines That Kill from cardiologist Dr. James Marcum is now available. In his newest book, Dr. Marcum explains why he believes that medications may very well be the #1 cause of death in America. Medicines That Kill uncovers the hidden risks associated with modern pharmaceuticals and outlines the biblical plan for physical and spiritual health. To find out how to get your copy, visit our website at heartwiseministries.org or call us toll-free at 855-644-3278.
Could it be this simple changed my life? What an amazing and solid yet fulfilling and liberating message Dr. Jennings provides. I loved it.
It is liberating. It frees your mind from all your mental turmoil and teaches you what is really going on.
This book is amazing and makes so much sense. It shows God as a God of love rather than an arbitrary, exacting God.
I am so grateful that a friend suggested I read Could It Be This Simple? It has helped me fine-tune my thinking.
This book not only helps the mind to heal, but helps to liberate the emotions by bringing them into balance. You will be captivated with the case studies liberally sprinkled throughout this small, easy-to-read book. I dare you to read it.
Get your copy of Could It Be This Simple? A biblical model for healing the mind at Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I hear the phones ringing. That's 855-644-3278. You know, every week we often talk about, we answer your questions regarding diseases and ailments, and we still want to answer questions about those things, but we also, if you have specific questions about exercising, type 2 diabetes, maybe how you can get off of medication, how you can get involved in losing weight, some heart questions, give us a call. We're not selling anything. We're here just to serve you. Speaking of service, Maurice, thank you for joining us on Heart of Health Live.
And thank you for the great introduction, Doc. You're kind. Thank you so much.
Now, we want you to come back over and over because exercise changes your chemistry.
It does.
If people can adopt some of the things that you're teaching, that might get them off medicines. But before we get going, tell us a little bit about your background, what got you so passionate about exercising and helping people live healthier.
Yes, sir. I started as an obese child, believe it or not. And I've often used that story, Doc. I said what started out as a personal goal became a career. I said I never knew at the age of 13. I mean, I remember distinctively one summer when I had to swim with my t-shirt on because I was so embarrassed with my physique. So I understand the psychology part of what obesity does, what being unhealthy does to a person. So we'll talk about medical and all that down the road, but we understand the psychology piece. So it became a career. 25, 27 years later, almost at 27, owned health clubs, owned personal training studios. But since about 2001, and it's my faith, is what I tell people all the time, decided to really focus on the high risk. I felt like there's a niche, there's a percentage of the population that just doesn't feel comfortable at health clubs, can't afford personal training, are not motivated enough to do it on their own. And I felt like, you know, there's a way I can provide service to that group. And we've been absolutely blessed, Doc, with it since then. And you know, presently we just got a contract with the state of Tennessee and been working with Fortune 500 companies like Mohawk Industries. So God has opened great doors, and but it started out as a personal goal.
Now, in getting someone to get healthier, what's some of the greatest hurdles and obstacles you have to overcome?
The psychology piece, I think the intimidation of it. I think there's two factors. I think one is you got to look at a program and say, can the whole family do it with me? What we're seeing wrong with the diet world is it's individualized, you know, and people jump in it for the right reason. They think, hey, I've heard you can lose X amount of weight in a short period of time. I got an event coming up. They overlook the fact that it's not realistic long term, especially when you want to try to apply it to your family and everyday life. So they overlook that. And secondly, we talked about it briefly a second ago, the intimidation factor. People are just too embarrassed to get started. They don't know where to start, and they're afraid that they don't look right. They don't. So there's a lot of it's mostly psychology. There's no doubt about it. That's what we're seeing the problem being on the higher level.
Okay. Now, this word exercise.
Yes, sir.
To you, what does the word exercise mean? You know, a lot of people just see it as going to the gym. But that's not the only way people can benefit. So what is exercise, or is it movement? What's all this about?
You know, own a pair of tennis shoes and you're good to go. I mean, listen, this is how we really teach it to our clients. As a matter of fact, in the first 6 weeks when you join one of my programs, we tell you, listen, we want you ultimately to get up to about 30 minutes a day. Ultimately, within 2 to 3 months, to be up to 5 days a week if your schedule allows you. But it doesn't have to go that far. As long as down the road you can work your way up to 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day. But the key of it is you really want to challenge yourself when you're walking. You know, this is something maybe we'll get more into details. It's based on heart rate.
Okay.
Okay, so, you know, first, do you know how to find your pulse? Great. The idea is after you've walked for about 10 minutes, check your heart rate. And if your heart rate is within 60%, 80%, I don't want to get too complicated on TV today because I don't know if we'll have time to give all this information. But the idea is to get your heart rate up for about 30 minutes. And secondly, believe it or not, if you have a job that requires you to sit down for hours at a time, and a lot of jobs do nowadays with the way technology is, they're finding another problem now, Doc, that people that sit still for over 3 hours at a time, for a period of over 1 year, which if you've had a job doing that for a long time,
a lot of people do that.
You can increase cancer, the chances of developing cancer by almost 30% from being seated constantly. So now what they're saying, it's not just exercise and get your heart rate up and break a good sweat and get your heart get it going, but you need to stand up at least 15 minutes every hour on the hour. Even if you don't move, just stand up and stretch.
Okay.
So you got to start somewhere.
Right.
So walking.
What if, occasionally I get this when I deal with older people sometimes, they say, listen, my bones, my joints hurt, I don't feel like I can walk. It hurts too much.
It's a great question. And Doc, you know this as a doctor, that you gotta build the muscle tissue. We know one of the reasons why arthritis gets worse as we age, because the side effect of aging is deterioration of the muscle tissue. So we understand that the muscle is a support mechanism to the joints. The more muscle you have around the joints, the less pressure you have on the joints, right? It makes sense. I've always compared it to a shock in the car. Take the shocks out, you can hit a little bump and it's gonna feel like you hit a huge hole. Put the shocks on and you get more of a comfort ride. So to me, the muscle factor plays a huge role.
That's good.
You can't get rid of arthritis, you can't rebuild your cartilages, but can you minimize the pain? Without a doubt. As a matter of fact, if walking bothers you, we tell clients then do a less impact type of exercise. Swimming, local YMCAs have it all over the country. Get in the pool, exercise. So there's other methods, there's other cardiovascular equipment, on and on, but you gotta move, you gotta get your heart rate up.
Yeah, and that's the key, moving, getting the heart rate up. I have a patient that's in a wheelchair. All they do is they just pretend like they're rowing, and they do that for whatever time they can do it. They do this and this and this, and sure enough, they get their heart rate up. They benefit at least some benefits. It's better than doing nothing.
No doubt, Doc. I had a client one time, a long time ago. He's blind. His wife literally had to walk him into the gym and would get him close enough to the punching bag, and she would leave him. And she'll go for about 20, 30 minutes. And he would stand there.
That's excellent.
And he would just do this. I mean, literally, you can imagine the motion of a boxer. He'd get close enough, and I'd check on him every 5 minutes. I felt bad. I mean, seeing that guy standing there for almost 30. But he was so disciplined, he would stand there and do this. And within 15 minutes, he is drenched. I mean, he's absolutely getting his heart rate up. He's increasing his punch. And he was losing weight.
Yeah.
So as simple as doing this for a period of 20 minutes, you can get some benefit out of it.
Now, would it be fair to say that you're never too old or too young to start a movement program?
Without a doubt. I mean, that's the beauty of our creation, is age is not an issue. We've seen studies done in nursing homes. And they did a study, it's been a while, it's been a few years since I've seen it, where they took a group of 80 and 90-year-old people that were using their canes and wheelchairs part-time, not full-time. And after 6 weeks, I think the percentage was a little over 50% where they just didn't use them at all. Within 6 weeks. And these are groups of 80s and 90s that were using their canes and wheelchairs part-time, not, they weren't as disabled as some others.
I think that's so critical. If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it.
So you got to use those parts every day.
There's no doubt.
That is so good. And a lot of people think that you change your chemistry through a medication, and it does. But you change it through your nutrition, your thoughts, but you also change it by your exercise program. You change all the chemistry. So like when you get someone to do this, you change their entire chemistry, which helps everything better. We're waiting for your calls with Maurice Saliba. He's going to answer calls about maybe some type 2 diabetes, exercise, weight loss, how to get on a program. Our phone number, 855-643278, or I'm waiting for some texts. Our text number is 423-834-7307. Many of you have been asking about baby Owen. Baby Owen is doing well. I saw him looking at his hand this week. He discovered that his hand is part of his body, and we're going to have a picture of baby Owen up very soon for you to see what he looks like as he's growing up here. You have time to get on a program with Maurice. After this break, we're going to come back and talk about, we have a question of a person that wants to get off some medications that has had type 2 diabetes. We want to know if it's possible by exercise and weight loss. So if that might be a question you might have, stay with us. You're watching Heart of Health Live. Our phone number, once again, 855-644-3278. Stay with us, do some movement during the break. We're going to be right back.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Heartwise Ministries and these adorable sheep want to remind you that every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, the Heart of Health Live is all new with an exciting guest. That's 6 p.m. right here on this station.
Heartwise Ministries would like to invite you to take a moment and connect with us and share your thoughts and comments. You can join the conversation on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. HeartwiseMinistries.org will help you stay up to date with what's going on. And of course, you can always watch past shows on Vimeo.com. I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said, or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that Heartwise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support Heartwise so that together we can count more names on the Tree of Life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
We're glad you've taken time to join us. We're going to talk about something tonight that's very important. That's everyone out there needs to at least think about a movement program. If you're involved in it, congratulations. We want to learn about it. We have Maurice Saliba here. He's going to come on from time to time and motivate us about that because it's just so important. Exercise changes the chemistry of your entire body. This is something we want to do. We have a question here, Maurice, and this is from a person that says, my doctor says that I'm pre-diabetic. I'm really not interested in medications. Is it possible to not get diabetes?
It is possible not to get diabetes. We're doing it constantly with clients all over East Tennessee and Northwest Georgia and the South, and we're seeing it all the time, Doc. You don't have to move the needle too much. Here's the exciting part, and not sure if you knew this or not, but as of last year, I became certified by the CDC as a CDC pre-diabetic educator.
Okay.
And we're proud of that. And so what the CDC now, just me saying this, if you can just lose 5% of your total body weight in 1 year, think about that. Someone like me that weighs about 220, if I came to you and said, okay, listen, you don't have to lose 50 pounds. You don't have to lose 100 from the get-go. Let's keep it simple. What if we focus on 5% in 12 months? They found that if you can lose 5% of your body weight in 12 months, you can prevent diabetes from developing for the next 5 years. Now, that's as long as you can hold that 5%, okay, not gain it back. So for someone like me at 220 pounds, all you got to lose is between 10 to 15 pounds in 1 year. That's almost 1.25 pounds a month. So what's beautiful about what we're teaching is no longer you got to lose 5 pounds a week, 3 pounds a week. You don't have to put that kind of pressure on yourself. It's moving the needle in the right direction slowly. And so we're excited about the message. And yes, you can come off medications because the number one reason for type 2 diabetes It's usually weight gain and a
Yes.
lack of exercise.
Wow.
It all ties back in.
Now let's take that a step further. What
Yes,
if
sir.
someone does have type 2 diabetes? Let's say they're on some medications for that.
Sure.
Is it possible, you think, to come off the medications?
It's amazing. We've had so much success with type 2 diabetes coming off medications. As a matter of fact, we have a gentleman by the name of Bryson McCauley. Listen, I have his permission to use his name. This gentleman is amazing. He's out of Somerville, Georgia. When he came to me, his wife came to me first, Doc, and she said to me, I'm worried about him. He took early retirement. He's gaining weight. It was his equilibrium was off. He just had to take early retirement. I said, bring him to one of my classes. If he's not interested after one class, leave him alone. It's got to be something he wants to do. Long story short, a year later, Bryson lost 106 pounds.
In 1 year, wow.
In 1 year, one of the most dedicated people. He really put his mind to it because he was afraid. What I tell people is, what good is all the money in the world if you can't enjoy life every day? Who are you going to give it to? Doctors and hospitals?
Right.
No pun intended,
Right,
Doc. But you
right,
know what I'm saying. So if you want to really enjoy life and travel and do the things, invest a little bit in your health. What is amazing, not only he lost his weight, not only he came off blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, but he was the first client I've had in over 20 years in the business that actually his doctor took him off his pump. He's a type 1 diabetic. Now that's a very unusual case with a type 1, but we've seen it where exercise and nutrition has even helped a type 1 diabetic come off his pump. So I don't want to get everybody's hopes up on the as a type 1, but amazing things happen when you really commit yourself to saying, I'm going to stick with an eating habit. And diets don't have to be aggressive, Doc. I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of.
Right.
Do I have to give up some of the things I enjoy? Not at all.
It's going to be smart.
Moderation. And this is what we preach, 80-20. 80% of the time, stick with the program. 20% of the time, enjoy your family and life.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've seen it, Doc, all the way up to type 1 where we've seen changes. And it doesn't take much.
So it sounds like, the medications for type 2 doesn't really get at the cause. It just treats the symptoms.
It really does.
And I have doctor friends out west that if someone comes to them with type 2 diabetes, they check the hemoglobin A1C, it's definitely type 2 diabetic. What they will do is say, listen, I'm not going to start you on medications. Some of these medications have side effects. Some of these medications make you more hungry.
Sure.
Some of them act as growth hormones. Some of them interact with other things. I'm going to really get you on a program like yours.
Right.
Introduce you to someone that can teach you how to eat better and exercise and work with you and see if you can change your chemistry and create, because type 2 diabetes, too much fat in the body,
Sure.
too much fat in the diet, and maybe you don't need to take a medication.
It's true.
And, we've seen that. And I think that's a great place to start.
It's got to be, because what's happening is, you just mentioned it, the medicine's not going to fix the problem. It's just a Band-Aid on the cut, but it's not going to really fix the problem. Ultimately, you control the number of medications you take. There's other side effects to medications, and I would never say this to clients without saying you always follow your doctor's orders.
Exactly.
Always. But understand that for every pill you take, we don't know about the liver, we don't know about the kidneys, we don't know about other things that may develop long-term from taking too much medicine. We don't know what other side effects may develop. So if you can control your weight, if you can control your medication strictly by increasing your water intake a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Just up it to 64 ounces. You don't have to do a whole lot. That's not a whole lot. That's like 3 20-ounce bottles. Close enough, easy to do. The second thing I tell clients is get out and walk a little bit. Even if you start out with 10 minutes a day right now, that's all you can do. Do it. And every day or every week, add a minute or two. Within a 6 to 8 weeks period, you're up to about 20, 30 minutes. If you can just start with the water and the walking, it is amazing what you would see in 4 to 6 weeks. It doesn't take a whole lot, Doc.
We could almost do that in an hour here. If we
really
do the breaks, if the break we exercise and drink a glass of water, we could accomplish that within an hour. So it's exciting. Our people that are watching might be able to accomplish that goal just during the breaks and the commercials.
During the breaks. We do this with corporates, Doc.
Yeah.
We tell people that are working behind desks, that are doing customer service all day long behind their desk, we tell them if I give you 6 movements to use the rubber bands or use your desk, like to do push-ups or to use your chair, if every hour you stand up for 5 minutes and do one movement, so in 7 hours you can do 7 movements, you completed your workouts. And you did it in like 5 minutes increments every hour on the hour. You don't even have to really take 30 straight minutes. You can actually sneak it in at 5 minutes an hour.
That is so...
All you got to do is stand up and say, okay, I'm going to do bicep curls.
Yes, for How much? Yeah.
You know, do as much as you can in 1 minute, for example. That's about 40, 50 repetitions. That's great. Sit down, do your work. Next hour, stand up and say, okay, I'm going to work my triceps a little bit. Basic movements, you know. You can go against the wall, do little push-ups, or you would be amazed what you'll accomplish in 6 weeks just by plugging in 5 minutes every hour on the hour.
That is so creative.
It is. It doesn't take a whole lot to move the needle. It really doesn't.
You know, and I think that's the misnomer. Everyone thinks they have to go to the gym, they have to be sweating, they have to get a personal trainer. It's not like that.
That's right.
But you know, this is so important because I think we have a crisis in the United States and growing across the world, wouldn't you?
Without a doubt, Doc, and this is coming from the CDC, and please pay attention to this message. The CDC is telling us that 33.3% of the people in the U.S. are pre-diabetics, meaning in the next 5 years, we got a big problem here, folks. 1/3 of our nation is pre-diabetic, and I don't have to tell you that if within 5 years you don't address that issue, meaning lose a few pounds, that 5%, start walking a little bit and drink a little bit more water, just move the needle a little bit. If you become a diabetic, this is where you come in. The side effects are horrendous. Heart disease, amputation, blindness. I mean, this is serious stuff. So if diabetes runs in your family, that's a flag. If you're more than 15 pounds overweight, that's a flag. If you have an A1C of 5.7 to 6.2, if you got your physical done in the last year and your doctor said, well, your A1C is running between 5.7 and 6.2, that's a flag. So you need to pay attention.
Okay, well, we're going to go to break, and after break, we got Valerie on the line. We're going to come back and answer her question. We also have a question that's come in about motivation to exercise. All great stuff. Listen, we just want to help you here on HeartWise. We just want to get you to learn to be healthier, and Maurice isn't getting paid. He's not selling a product. There's no herbal supplements or fancy weight loss medications or stimulants that some people are pushing, because I don't think that's the real solution. We truly have a healthcare dilemma. We just want to help. Stay with us. You can join in on the conversation, 855-644-3278. We'll be right back with Maurice Saliba after this short break.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing? I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org. Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum, speaker, director of HeartWise Ministries. And at HeartWise, our goal is to bring people into a relationship with the Heavenly Father using modern medicine and the healing principles found in the Bible. We teach people that there is a place for modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, but it is in a relationship with their Creator where ultimate healing can occur. Over the past years, our ability to share this message of truth, love, and healing around the world has increased exponentially. But to continue this steady growth, we need your help. We are looking and praying for 100 individuals willing to give $1,000 a year. If the Spirit is moving you to become one of the HeartWise 100, won't you consider donating online today at heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We're here with exercise specialist Maurice Saliba, who's worked with patients and people for years trying to change their chemistry through exercise and nutrition. One thing I really enjoy about working with Maurice Saliba, he also has a passion for God and including that in a treatment protocol. Right now, Valerie from Granada, you're on with Maurice Saliba. Go ahead, Valerie.
Saliba, don't make noise.
Valerie, you're on with Maurice Saliba. Go ahead, Valerie.
Hi,
yes,
Valerie.
Doctor. I am diabetic, and under my feet, I'm feeling no feelings under my feet, and the doctor put me on Lyrica. So I want to know what's going to happen now, because I'm still feeding. I'm not feeling any. I have no feeling under my feet.
Okay, Valerie, we're going to split this question up, okay? As far as your feet, it sounds like Valerie, it sounds like you have a medical condition that can be caused by diabetes called a neuropathy, okay? A neuropathy. And there's some things you can do. Now, Lyrica is a medicine used for that, but there's some things that Maurice is going to tell you about, maybe doing some exercise that might also help. What kind of exercise can someone do that has neuropathy that might not be able to walk very well?
Let's talk about relief first. Is that okay? Let's offer some relief for her to do the exercise. And Valerie, I feel for you. I get a lot of the clients that will do this. Here's what I recommend. Every evening when you get home, while you're watching television or just after you finish the housework, I need you to, prior to that, I need you to get you two plastic bottles of water, maybe 20 ounces each, and freeze them, okay? Put them in the freezer, because what I want you to do every night is take those out of the freezer, put them on the floor, on your carpet, put your feet on them, and I want you to roll them forward and backward, okay? One of the reasons why swelling develops, because there's a lack of blood flow getting in that area. So what we want to do is try to increase the blood flow. So the benefit of a frozen plastic bottle, make sure it's not glass and frozen, okay? Make sure it's plastic. By the stroking motion, Doc, when you roll it back and forth, that increases blood flow, giving her some relief, and the ice is an anti-inflammatory. So you're really hitting the swelling. So before we do anything in the evening, please start out with doing about 5 to 10 minutes of those two bottles under your feet. Let's get the swelling down. And then exercise, Beverly, you got to start out with what's comfortable. If it means once the swelling is down, you've rested a little bit, take a 5-minute walk. We talked about that. Work it up to 7 minutes and 10 minutes. As you start walking, every step you take also increases blood flow. So the idea is we got to start somewhere, but I recommend start by using the ice and the bottles, and then go for a short walk. And every week add a minute or two. And I believe within 6 to 8 weeks, you start seeing phenomenal improvements. And then when you get home, please elevate your legs a little bit. You know, lay flat on your back, put a couple of pillows under your legs, allow some relief off your feet a little bit. Okay? So that's what I would recommend from the exercise aspect of it.
Valerie, give that a try, and thank you for giving us a call this evening. We'll be going to be praying for you too, that God will also continue to bless your life. The next question we have is from Vida, and Vida is calling from California. I hope I said your name right. Hello, Vida. Vida, did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, go ahead. You're on with Maurice Saliba. Go ahead.
Vida.
Yeah, my doctor said I'm pre-diabetic.
Okay. Yes.
And do you have a question, or you just want us to talk about that?
Yes, pre-diabetic.
Okay.
And do you just need to know more about prediabetes, or do you have a question about prediabetes?
Yeah, pre-diabetes, because I lost some weight.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah,
let's
tell her
128 down to 111.
Sure. Listen, first, thank you for calling, because I'm glad you're concerned about that before it becomes a diabetes issue, before other side effect comes with it. As I just mentioned a moment ago, if we can help you lose only 5% of your body weight, meaning I'm not going to ask your body weight, but it's usually pre-diabetes starts because the person has gained some weight over the years, is not taking the time to exercise, and their diet is a little bit out of place. But because we can't go through all the details on this show with such a short period of time to talk about this, All I want you to do for the next 6 weeks, and I would love to write Doc and update him on that.
Right.
Up your water intake to 64 ounces and keep your fat intake within 30 grams of fat per day. Do this for 6 weeks. All you got to read on the label is fat. Don't worry about the quality of the fat. I know it's hard for me to say this, but this is coming from the CDC, not me. Keep it within 30 grams of fat a day, drink 64 ounces, and try to walk. And I would love for you to update Doc, weigh yourself this week so you have a beginning number, add the water, keep your fat intake at 30 grams, walk a little bit, and I promise you this, you will lose 2 to 3% of your body weight within 6 weeks, not 12 months. And by doing that, and you continue behaving this way, you will prevent diabetes from ever happening. But you got to always maintain that lifestyle.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
Well, thank you for your call. Maurice, we have one that's texted into us, and this comes in and says, I'm writing a book and try to walk around often, but my hips really hurt.
Right.
What type of cushion do you suggest, or can you give me some advice on that?
That's a great question, and I don't know if there's an exact cushion, but I will tell you what, most people with bad hips, arthritis, back problems, the first thing we'll look at is their mattress, believe it or not. Because we spend almost 1/3 of our life, Doc, asleep, right? We average 6 to 8 hours every 24 hours. That's somewhere around 30%. If you got the wrong mattress, if you haven't updated your mattress over the last 10 years and you still use mattress with springs in it and the old method of making mattresses, as you get older, you're going to experience more and more problems. Ask an expert with age and arthritis and problems. I switched to Tempur-Pedic. I have to look down to say this.
Yeah.
And it's those commercials you see where you put your hands on the mattress, and I don't get paid to do this. Doc will tell you, I'm just telling you, I purchased it. It's a 50 years warranty. It did away with my back problems. It just absolutely changed everything when it comes to pain, because if your posture is lined up right during those 6 to 8 hours, you're going to have less pain during the day. So that would be the first thing I would say to look at.
You know, I vouch for that. My son got one of those too, and it's just the most comfortable mattress.
It sure is.
And if you sleep good and your muscles are resting, and that can also help the hips.
It's a little expensive, Doc, but if you think about changing every 5 to 10 years because you don't like your mattress, you're paying for it. So why not pay the price up front and keep it 20, 30 years? Great mattress.
Okay. One other caller came in. This is Barbara writing from Washington, D.C. She has vascular lymphedema, a lot of swelling with lymphs. Is there any type of movement? She also has breast cancer. Lymph nodes have been removed. Any type of exercise to maybe help with lymphedema, as well as, of course, we want exercise for cancer to lose the weight and decrease estrogen in the body.
And you're talking to a person that just 2 years ago just had cancer. I had the spindle cell, and you could probably still see my scar here. And they really, at the time, only through God's grace, I'm sitting here today. They gave me 10% chance to live. So I feel for you. I totally, and it's a miracle. I ended up having to go to Emory Hospital. Your hospital is the one that really gets the kudos for it. So with saying that, here I am today. Everything we discussed today applies to that question, Doc. The ice issue, the resting issue, the elevation issue, those, I hope I've answered a lot of that, because in a sense it applies to all that.
Yes, it does.
And if weight is the issue, you got to really look at that first and say, okay, let me start with my diet and let me start with exercise. But let me add one more thing to the diet issue. As an ex-cancer patient, not 5 years there yet, I can't tell you the power of vegetables. I can't tell you the power of tomatoes and parsley and things like that. Salads. Keep it fresh.
And I'm going to have to stop you right there because we have to go to break. But we're going to continue talking about this after our break. You're watching Heart of Health Live. After the break, we're going to talk to Nisa next. So stay on with us, Nisa. We're going to finish answering this question about how we can improve lymphedema and treatment of cancer with exercise. Stay with us.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Heartwise Ministries would like to invite you to take a moment and connect with us and share your thoughts and comments. You can join the conversation on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter HeartWiseMinistries.org will help you stay up to date with what's going on. And of course, you can always watch past shows on Vimeo.com. I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said. Or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that HeartWise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support HeartWise so that together we can count more names on the tree of life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
Heartwise Ministries and these adorable sheep. Want to remind you that every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, the Heart of Health Live is all new with an exciting guest. That's 6 p.m. right here on this station.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
We were talking before break about a person that had some concerns about lymphedema, swelling in the legs, also had a history of cancer. We I don't know the details,
Sure.
but cancer, extra weight, extra estrogen.
No doubt.
So that definitely helps getting the ideal body weight. I think you gave some great suggestions for lymphedema. I love that idea. Let's just go through that lymphedema, elevate the legs,
Sure.
move. Let's go over that one more time.
Again, this is good for anybody that's struggling with any form of swelling, whether it's due to diabetes or vascular disease or anything else. 2 bottles of plastic bottles, freeze them. They can be a liter. It doesn't matter the size of them. And every evening when you get home, sit down, put them on the floor, roll your feet back and forth, put some pressure on it. It offers instant relief, it decreases pressure, swelling, and increases blood flow. Amazing, cheap way to make it work and elevate.
Great place to start.
It's a great place to
start. I also, want to add to that, elevate the legs
No
some.
doubt.
I think regular exercise helps,
No
like you
doubt.
said. And sodium. A lot of people take too much salt in.
And we don't pay attention, Doc, because you need to keep it about 1,500 milligrams. So that's a number it's not bad to keep an eye on when you buy things. Look at the label. You would be amazed how much sodium and MSG is in our food today.
Yeah.
Great,
Okay.
Great point.
Nisa, you're on with Maurice Saliba, our exercise specialist. Go ahead, Nisa.
Hi, Nisa.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm 21 and I have MS, and I'm trying to get off the treatment. I've been changing my diet, but I'm not really consistent. Also, a couple months ago in the winter, I'd run about 2-3 miles. And a couple months ago, I went back to go running, and I had to force myself to run 2 miles.
Good for you.
And then I went on the track last Wednesday, and it's like I had to force myself to run around the track twice. So I felt I felt weakness in my knees. And I guess I've been having this clicking, and I'm not sure what's going on. NSAIDs for that and the MS as well.
Well, thank you for calling first, and congratulations. I'm so proud of you for using exercise as a method to slow down the disease. Can we really prevent MS? We haven't seen any study that shows that. Something that came out on the air yesterday, I heard it on Fox News. A lady that was diagnosed with MS picked up running. She set a new world record. Ran 1 marathon a day for 365 days straight. Wow. 1 marathon. She said she has no symptoms of MS. Now, nobody can do that. I think she is like 1 in a billion probably that can do that. To answer your question, is one thing we tell clients is pick up weight resistance training. Very, very important, because we know the side effects of MS is muscle deterioration, causes weaknesses, and before you know it, other side effects come out of it. Pick up resistance training 3 days a week. Make that your focus, especially if you're feeling it more with the legs. Really focus on legs movements. The leg extension, the leg curl, those are movements you can find in the gym. And if your budget doesn't allow you, just squats, just sitting down and standing up, doing repetitions. You really want to strengthen your core. And then keep doing the cardiovascular, definitely helpful. Last but not least, if your medication, a lot of medications for MS patients, doc, is causing loss of appetite. Yes. Well, that doesn't help the MS issue, because if you don't eat, you lose muscle. And then you got MS that's causing muscle loss. So what we then recommend is lean more toward the protein shakes. This is where you go to your local supplement store, pick up a protein powder, put a banana, put an apple, put all these good nutrients in that blender, and blend it. So if your appetite is affected and you can't get enough calories, you will lose muscle. So pick up, do more fruits, more vegetables in the form of blending your stuff with a protein powder, because you need to up your protein, the good protein, and resistance training. Those will be the 2 things I recommend my MS patients.
Okay, good. Thank you for calling, Neeson.
Thank you, Neeson.
We're going to be praying for you, okay? Our next call is from Joetta. Joetta, you are on with Maurice Saliba. Go ahead, Joetta. Joetta, okay, go ahead.
Hi, Joetta.
Well, what I want to ask you, back 2004, I lost weight, and I've kept it off. I was 64 when I did. I'm 73 now. I weigh 121.
Okay.
And I've kept it off. And I did this on my own because the doctor said I would be a diabetic full-blown because my mother had
Very
it.
good.
And what I'm wanting to know, I got up to 130, and then I had thyroid trouble. I was hyper, and do have hypertensive. So I'm wanting to try to gain weight, and seem like I can't get no muscles back. I walk the treadmill 15 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And I take like vitamins C and D, fish oil, and D3 1,000, and E 400. And I watch what I eat: flaxseed. Stuff that's low in sodium and more potassium.
Okay.
I don't care for a lot of sweets. But my legs I'm skinny. I still lost the weight, and I've had it all since 2004.
Sure.
And I just want to know what I can do to put some muscle back in my bones and my arms that's hanging down where I lost the weight.
Yes, ma'am. Great question.
I can only build.
I'm sorry.
I can only lift a weight 2 pounds.
Only lift 2 pounds.
Only 2 pounds.
Like I do exercise.
Then I would thank you for calling and for your question. And my recommendation would be, number 1, don't focus too much on the scale. This is something we tell clients where they want to lose or gain. Okay, focus on the inches. Number 1, this is around the waistline, basically. And so as long as you're feeling good, okay, Nisa, as long as you're feeling good and you have energy, I wouldn't worry too much about the scale. If you want to tone and firm, if you have too much skin hanging, there's only so much you can do about that. I'm not sure exactly how much, until I see the person, I can't give the exact recommendation. But resistance training is the key. It's not the treadmill. Now, we recommend both. You really need to spend time doing your cardio, but you got to pick up weightlifting. I call it resistance training.
Something.
You got to
bands.
You can do bands. You can do dumbbells. The bands, you can get these yellow ones. They feel like 2 pounds only. But if you can use only 2 pounds, do more repetitions. The idea is this: do it till it burns. Okay, until you feel a burning sensation. So if it means with 2 pounds you have to do 50 repetitions, you got to do 50. But if you can do 4 pounds, you might do 40. So the idea is get the muscle to where it burns. Do it a couple of times, 3 days a week, and you'll start seeing improvements there. So I hope this helped.
Okay, good luck, and we hope that will help you. Our next caller is Rose. Rose, you're on with Maurice Saliba. Go ahead, Rose.
Yes, very quickly. I have multiple sclerosis. I also have asthma. About 6 years ago, I was put on an asthma allergy medication that caused me to put on a lot of weight. I went over 300 pounds.
Okay.
And what happened was I got off that medication and started losing the weight. I eat a total vegan diet.
Okay.
I don't eat a lot of processed stuff or anything like that. Drink lots of water. I exercise every day. I do weights. I do treadmill. I do an abs machine, and I also do that exercise video, Walking with Leslie Sanzone.
Wow.
And,
good job.
but I can't get outside this year. The humidity here in Tennessee has been knocking me over.
Sure.
And I take bee pollen instead for the asthma. But the last 5 months, I'm kind of sitting at 165, 166.
Okay.
Give or take. And the weird thing is all of a sudden I'm starting to lose muscle.
Sure.
And I can't figure. And I'm using arm weights and muscles in my arms and stuff. And I'm using I do from 2 to 7 pound, or is it 8 pound? I think it's 7 pound weights.
Okay.
And like you said with the lady before, when it burns, I can't do that I have to go to the next one.
Okay.
Right.
But I can't figure this out.
Rose.
Why I'm not losing any more weight and why I'm losing the muscle. What am I doing wrong?
Rose, we're going to go to break, okay? But after break, Maurice is going to give her thoughts on your condition. I want to congratulate you for all you are doing.
No doubt.
Maurice is going to deal with this after break. So if you'll just listen on the television, we're going to be back and answer your question after this break. And Marie, you're going to be after Rose. So stay with us on Heart of Health Live. Exercise physiologist Maurice Saliba is with us today.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
Medicines That Kill from cardiologist Dr. James Marcum is now available. In his newest book, Dr. Marcum explains why he believes that medications may very well be the #1 cause of death in America. Medicines That Kill uncovers the hidden risks associated with modern pharmaceuticals and outlines the biblical plan for physical and spiritual health. To find out how to get your copy, visit our website at heartwiseministries.org or call us toll-free at 855-644-3278.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum, speaker, director of Heartwise Ministries. And at Heartwise, our goal is to bring people into a relationship with the Heavenly Father using modern medicine and the healing principles found in the Bible. We teach people that there is a place for modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, but it is in a relationship with their Creator where ultimate healing can occur. Over the past years, our ability to share this message of truth, love, and healing around the world has increased exponentially. But to continue this steady growth, we need your help. We are looking and praying for 100 individuals willing to give $1,000 a year. If the Spirit is moving you to become one of the Heartwise 100, won't you consider donating online today at heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Well, we're glad you've all joined us. We're talking about how exercise can change our chemistry much more effective than medications. And unfortunately, we're in our last segment, so we're going to move a little bit quicker. But Maurice Saliba has told us he's going to be back. So if you send in your questions, he's going to be back more, giving us practical advice, meeting you where you're at, loving you and not judging you. So let's talk a little bit about the last caller that's having some muscle problems.
Rose, right. Rose, because we're running out of time, two helpful hints to pay attention to. Number one, well, let me just make a comment about the muscle. We don't know if you're really losing muscle or fat. Be careful of that. But the fact that you feel like you're struggling to gain strength, As a vegan, I recommend pay attention to your caloric intake to keep losing weight. Keep it about 1,400 calories, okay? And last but not least, let's make sure you're getting about 60 to 70 grams of protein a day. So 1,400 calories, make sure you're getting between 60 and 70 grams of protein a day. You can up it to 90 if you want to take in that much. Monitor those two things and write the doc in 6 weeks and give us your input on how, if that helps you a little bit.
Yeah, and
Okay?
some vegans might want to substitute with beans or almonds and
Tofu
walnuts
is,
and
I never thought
tofu.
I'd like tofu
Yeah.
myself, but if you add the right
That's right.
mixture with it, it's very
Okay.
good.
Well, I've got one that's been texted in. It says, "Dear Doc, I have that burning sensation under my feet. What is wrong?" A burning sensation can often be some type of nerve problem. And when I see a burning, the first thing I think is I want to make sure they don't have diabetes, because
Right.
diabetes can damage the nerve that's farthest from the central nervous system. I want to make sure their circulation is good. I also want to make sure that they don't have any compression, any type of foot abnormalities. So I would go check with your doctor, make sure you're not diabetic, do some exam on the circulation of your foot, and also make sure your foot structurally is good and there's nothing that's compressing a nerve. So those are things that might help, and we appreciate you texting us today. Now our next caller is from Marie. Marie is calling from Oregon. Go ahead, Marie. You're on with Maurice Saliba.
Yes, I have been diagnosed with hepatitis, chronic hepatitis C, and they started me in May on the interferon and some other heavy-duty medications. Now I do have side effects, but they're not. I don't have all that's on the list that I could get.
Sure.
My feet and my lower extremities are swelling, and I do have a really bad rash. If I walk about half a block, I'm gasping for air, and I'm very tired.
Okay.
I'm
Doc,
61 years old.
I'm gonna first of all, you need to probably see your physician and make sure these aren't conditions that I'm sure it's probably related to your hepatitis. Okay, frequently you can swell and have all sorts of problems. So you want to make sure that they clear some type of exercise movement program.
Sure.
If they do, then some of the simple things that we discussed earlier,
Will apply.
even if it's just simple, you don't have to do a whole lot. Just some type of movement program where you do a little bit hot, cold on the lower extremities.
No doubt.
Propping them up might help, but you also might have the liver might be working too hard, and we might have some buildup
Sure.
of fluid from that. So check
I'm
with
sorry.
it. Yeah, go ahead.
And even if it means standing up in the room and just raising your knees up and down, just while you're watching TV, just standing in one spot. That way when you get tired, you can sit down, and you don't even have to go outside to walk. You can do 30 seconds at a time. Any kind of movement would be good. And of course, hepatitis C is not something I see a lot in my field, so I'm
Right.
sorry if I can't give you any more directions toward that.
Yeah, well, Marie, we can't really comment because your condition's a little bit more complicated without
Sure.
all the details. But one thing we can do is pray for you.
That's right.
And if you want prayer, you can go to our website. We'll be happy to pray for you. You can also join us in praying for others, or we can call you and pray with you. We want to thank Maurice for joining us on
Thank
Heart
you
of
for
Health
having
Live.
me.
We're going to have you back again. We're here to help you. We want to wish everyone a good day. And remember that there's a place for modern medicine, there's a place for lifestyle, but it's in that relationship with our Lord and Savior where we can find ultimate healing. We're wishing you the best of health.